Talking about men, though, I reckon there's some creepy men out there, so there's some weird guys. I was talking to one particularly weird guy about a year ago. This is the kind of story that sounds fake, but it's true. I was talking to this guy at a pub. I didn't know him. He was like a friend of mine. And after about 2 minutes of talking to this guy, he leaned, an attractive woman walked past, and he leaned into me. He's like, oh, you know what I'd want to do to her? Which is never a good start. It's never something nice. No one's ever like, oh, you know what I'd want to do to her? Wouldn't mind paying off her HECS debt. Wouldn't mind giving her one list of good restaurants around town. Wouldn't mind leaving her alone. It's never that. It's always something weird, but this is particularly weird because he leans in, he's like, oh, you know what I do to her? And then he paused for like too long, to the point where now I'm sitting there awkward, like I've got to ask a fucking follow-up question or something. So after a while, I'm like, what do you want to do to this poor woman? And then he said this, he's like, wouldn't mind having her as my own personal Tamagotchi. I was like, man, I don't think you're familiar with the Tamagotchi device. As far as I remember, there are only 3 settings on those things. Play with it, feed it, and clean up its shit. Doesn't sound like a very good deal for... It sounds like a better deal for her, if anything. Going to be a very committed butler. But I said something like that to him. I'm like, man, I don't think you know about Tamagotchis. But then he said this. He was like, no, I've got one. And you know what I mean. And it was at that point, for the first time in my life, I was sitting there legitimately thinking, this guy is fucking his Tamagotchi. Which is very weird, I'm sure you'll all agree, for 2 reasons. I was thinking about it. Like, first of all, how does that even work? What's he doing, just rubbing it on himself or something? Surely his dick doesn't fit in that tiny reset hole. That's one of the smallest holes I've ever seen in my whole life. But weirder than that to me, is like, if that was me, if I had a children's toy at my home that I was regularly using to service myself sexually, and then one night I'm thinking, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out to the pub, it's a Friday, I'm going to go out and try and meet some normal human people. If that were me that night, I would make a huge effort not to mention the Tamagotchi. That would be goal number 1 for the evening, I reckon. I'd have small talk prepared. I'd have a fake story about tampons ready in case I start saying Tamagotchi and need to veer off at the last minute. This fucking guy talking for 2 minutes, first woman he sees, he's like, you know what I want to do to her, and then paused. At the time, I thought the pause was for effect. Looking back, I just think he couldn't think of everything non-Tamagotchi related to say. Just got a big wheel of fortune, wheel of things to say, spinning in his head with just a Tamagotchi on every segment, like, oh, no. And I've been like, what do you want to do? He's been like, oh, she'd be a Tamagotchi, actually. That would be ideal.